I'm recording this session just so we've got notes for the others to refer to. I'm just quickly going through the Moodle page here, and I just wanted to have a look at the structure there. Mainly doing a little bit of looking backwards and also planning a bit further ahead as well. The resources from last week, we did a revision session last week, and I've got a video up there. Excuse me. In that video, we went right through the whole project requirements, and we gave some examples of how you could structure your project. A lot of the feedback that we were getting was really based around people feeling a bit overwhelmed and not really being sure how to structure the actual assignment. So we went through that in that video, and if you see over here in the suggested activities, I've got the file that I used there. I actually typed up a document just brainstorming. Now, the discussions we had, we were finding out people were overcomplicating their project and losing touch with the fact that all we're asking people to do is to use the techniques we've shown you to experiment with a group of people that you work with and then gather some feedback about how well does that work for you in that situation, and then just produce a report on it. So if you go through that video from last week, I think that'll help you a lot. And if you look at this actual file here from last week as well, you can actually see how I've gone into that document, copied out the project requirements, and you'll notice that as I've gone through that, I've restructured that brainstorming matrix because it was only ever there as an example. So I've restructured, yep, that's the one there, Liz, that's what I'm talking about. But remember, anytime I put those matrices up, it's there for you to restructure for your situation. I'm giving you a starting point. So if you look at the one I worked through, you'll see how I've restructured it, put in some extra questions, simplified some others, and it comes down to a much simpler tool. Now, the advantage of it is it becomes a brainstorming tool. You can identify, you know, what are the tools that I've used. Now, once you've done that, going down and actually answering the questions underneath that matrix becomes a lot easier. That becomes a fairly simple process. And then probably the most important part of the whole report is that final conclusion there. And that conclusion says, reflect on all of these factors and write a report on which of these tools you will continue to use on a regular basis. Your report should explain why you have made that decision. So we're just asking people, okay, out of all the things we've shown you, and there's quite a few, we went through them last week, which are the ones that you think are winners that you're going to take forward and keep doing all the time? Because realistically, that's what training education is all about, isn't it? You expose people. Yeah, all those different techniques, scanning, changing text into a PDF and then optical character recognition. So which are the ones that you're going to continue using in the future? Because I would hope, and I think from the feedback we've already received, that we would have changed people's work practices a little bit already. People are starting to pick up that, oh, that's a pretty simple trick. I'm going to use that one. That's a winner. So that's what we went through last week. So check it out. It's all up there on Moodle. In terms of tonight, really it's just a revision session. I want to answer questions and help you with anything you need help on tonight. There is the final test to be completed. It has to be done this week. So I want you to work on that final test tonight, if possible. If you can't do the test with me or Casey present, you can do the test at another time if you can get a line manager to be an observer and just give a statement. Liz, in your case, it's easy. You're here. You do it with me. We go out to the lab and we can get you signed in. You can do the test while you're here tonight. So if you can't do the test with Casey or I, all we're asking is that you get somebody else to act as a supervisor just for that. And that's only because from a quality control point of view, we have to be accountable. You know, we have to be able to provide evidence of how we've assessed people. So those are really the only jobs for tonight. Now, what I did want to talk to you about is what's coming up next term. So I'm just going to quickly jump across. I've just opened up the timetable for next term, and what I wanted to point out to you is what's coming up. Now, after we come back from the break, which will be Monday the 16th of July, we've got 3 units on the go that we'll be working through. We've got participate in OH&S processes, Now, I suspect for a lot of the people in this group, that will be a recognition job. I suspect a lot of people have already studied that unit in another course or have already got a job role where they do that all the time. So I suspect there'll be quite a few people applying for recognition for that. Now, if you feel that you do need the training, that's fine. I've got plenty of resources. I can help you through that. But I suspect we'll see a lot of RPO on that one. We have participated in environmentally sustainable work practices, which is a unit that's all about looking at how you use resources in your job, in what you do, and how in the way we use those resources. Now, we're going to keep that really, really practical and hands-on. I'd like to think that we'll be able to find some really good quick wins for you that you can have a look at. And I'll give you one example that came up for us just 2 weeks ago. We got the bill for all our printing costs for our department. We have one of the lowest printing costs of any department in the entire campus by a massive, massive margin. And the only reason we've got such a low printing cost, we made the decision 18 months ago, excuse me, that wherever possible we would convert documents into online PDF documents and we would make them available through whatever learning platform we used. Now, we don't hand out printouts to students. If they request it, we'll print one for them. Or, even better, we'll show them how to print them. But what we've done is we have slashed our printing costs massively. And the reason I'm talking about it is it's not just the money saving. I mean, that's one reason of doing this. Use the paper, print the paper, then dispose of the paper at the other end. So we've made a huge saving. So that's, I've got a whole range of very simple tools I want to show you that will help you with that. Now, we also have a unit called Operate Application Software Packages. That unit there is going to give us, I think, a really good opportunity. Again, you may get some people that will go for recognition on that one, and they're very welcome to do that. But in that unit there, it gives us an opportunity to use at least 3 different software applications and then have a look at the features of those applications. Now, I think that's going to give us an opportunity to go and do something really clever. I want to show people how to use spreadsheets and database in more detail. Because I know a lot of people have used spreadsheets a couple of times, but I find that for a lot of people, they're only using really the bare bones minimum features, and they haven't embraced all those great extra features like filters, text formulas. You know, there's a whole range of different functions that are built into spreadsheets that a lot of people are not even aware of. How to create graphs to be able to illustrate data. So that's some of the stuff I want to work on. And we're going to spend a fair bit of time working on importing large sets of data and then analysing that data and then trying to represent the data in a graphical format, in some form of a chart. So that's what's coming up there. For all the teachers in the group, you're probably going to find that good. You know, I'm going to show you how to go into our student record system, harvest out a very large set of data for an entire class, and then show you how you can use pivot tables to analyse how those students are going. And you'll be able to identify, and for you, Liz, I'll find other projects for you. I've got lots of examples, but that'll just be one example. A pivot table is an analysis tool where you bring in a large set of data and you say, all right, I want to compare this feature against that feature. So, for example, for this teaching one I'm talking about, what unit is the one that has the lowest average score? And that would give you an indication of something that's, you know, there's been a delivery problem or there's been a prerequisite problem. But there's a lot of analysis behind that. So those are the 3 units that are coming up next term. Start sort of thinking that over at the moment. The other thing I wanted to talk to you about is, provided we get this final test done this week, which we must do, Casey and I have had a chat. We've decided to give people an extension on their final projects. My preference is please hand it in this week, only because I want to see you get it finished and done with so you can go and relax and enjoy the holidays. But if you are stuck and you need more time, as long as you have it submitted before Monday the 16th of July, Katie and I will mark it on that day and then amend the marks for you. But you need to understand up front, there will be no extensions beyond that time. That gives you an additional 3 weeks of time to get the job done. So please don't plan on using all of that. My advice is finish it off as quickly as you can, get it behind you. That way we can give you feedback and you can move forward as well. So that's what the plan is, looking back and also looking forward. Could everybody hear that well enough? Sorry, when I turned away from the screen, I didn't realise I was losing sound. So I'll just stop the recording.